Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'll show you how to fix an oil leak coming from the distributor on a 1996 Honda Accord with the F22B1 engine. That's the VTEC engine. If you have noticed oil collecting around the distributor or dripping down the transmission housing, it's usually caused by a bad internal seal within the distributor or the outer O-ring where the distributor connects to the engine block. So let's take a stab at fixing it. Before we remove anything, I would take a marker or scribe and mark the exact position of the distributor relative to the engine block. This helps keep the timing correct when we reinstall it later. If you don't do this, you can actually end up misaligning the distributor and having to adjust the timing later on by adjusting the distributor by moving it left or right. Then using a 7 mm socket, you can remove the distributor cap. In this case, I removed the distributor cap before actually removing the distributor because I originally thought that I could just leave it on there. But eventually, I ended up removing the distributor cap as well because I found that the gasket on the distributor cap was destroyed. But either way, you can uh, use a 7 mm socket to remove the distributor cap from the distributor itself. Here you can see where the oil was dripping from inside the distributor. Disconnect the clips, and then eventually use a 12 mm socket to remove the 3 bolts which are holding the distributor to the engine block. I placed a rag below the distributor to catch any oil which will come out of the engine block. Eventually, after I removed the distributor, I also inserted that uh, rag inside the hole in the engine block so that nothing else will get into the engine. You can see that the gasket for the cap seems to be destroyed. Interestingly, it also seems to not be of the correct size for this distributor. Use an 8 mm socket to remove the rotor from the inside of the shaft. We need to remove this rotor so that we can access the two bolts which are holding down the bearing for the shaft. We'll also go ahead and mark the position of the gear relative to the shaft. Now you can't really put the gear the wrong side when you are inserting the distributor back into the engine block because both the gears are offset from the center. But you can insert the gear 180 degrees off from the shaft when you put it back. So it's a good idea to just mark it either using a punch or using a paint pen, which is what I'm using over here. Next, go ahead and remove the two bolts which are holding the bearing for the shaft. Next, we'll remove the shaft pin. Now, unlike some of other distributors that use a snap ring, this one uses a solid pin to hold the shaft in place, and it can be a bit stubborn. I tried a lot of different ways of cutting this out, but ultimately, this is the thing that worked. So to get it out, I supported the housing on a block of wood and used a punch pen with a 3-pound sledgehammer to drive the pin through. Make sure the housing is well supported so you don't crack it, and take your time working the pin out. Eventually, I would say it took me around 5 minutes to take it out, and then another 3 or 4 minutes to put it back in. With the pin out, we can take the gear out. So sometime around this time, I also went ahead and also marked the shaft on the inside with the red paint, just because I was a little bit paranoid about putting the gear 180 degrees off, and in case the paint on the other side came off while I was working on this shaft. With the shaft removed, you can finally take out the seal or the leaking seal out. Now, just keep in mind that this seal is not exactly very soft, so it won't come out easily. So you will have to use some force with it. Just be careful not to damage the housing. I used a peck, kind of a damaged peck, and that didn't really work. Eventually, what worked was a flathead screwdriver. Make sure your new seal is an exact replacement of the old one, and also at this time it'll be a good opportunity to clean up all the gunk which is inside the hole in which the seal fits. I put a little bit of 3M silicone paste on the seal so that it slides in a little bit easily. Of course, you can also use a little bit of an engine oil, just a little bit of lubrication to make it easier to slide it in. Then just start putting it back together, the reverse of how we took it all apart, and cleaning things along the way as you can. Also go ahead and replace the O-ring at this point. The O-ring actually I had replaced a few months ago, but the old one seemed a little bit loose, and the new one was an OEM replacement, so I decided to go ahead and do it since it was under $5 anyway. Now getting to the fun part of inserting the pin back into the shaft. Again, just double triple check to make sure that your gear is not 180-degree off and the notch on your gear matches with the marks that you had made in the shaft. Then use a socket to support the gear and use that sledgehammer and the pinch pin to drive the drive the pin into the shaft. Here I'm replacing the gasket that I have mentioned a couple of times. I got this one off of eBay. It is really out of production, so it's pretty hard to find parts, but I was able to find this banged up part, which is still in the original packaging. It fit so much better than the other one, which seemed oversized and was damaged for sure. Go ahead and lubricate that O-ring with engine oil. When you go to insert that distributor back into the engine block, make sure you align the gears with the gears teeth with the one on the camshaft inside the engine block. I had incorrectly marked the position of the gear of the other shaft on the distributor, so I was trying to insert it and it wouldn't really go in. So eventually, I actually looked inside the engine of the shaft and just rotated the shaft to have them mate nicely. With the way they are offset, it is almost impossible to insert the gear 180 degrees off. So as long as it goes in and goes in smoothly, you should be all set. Also, at that point, you can rotate the distributor to make sure that the marks that you had made on the distributor and the block align, and the timing will be perfect when you tighten those 12 mm bolts. Now, the manual says to tighten those 12 mm bolts to 13 pound-feet. If you don't have a torque wrench, I would say maybe go ahead and buy one. And if you don't want to buy it, then I would just tighten them snugly. These are aluminum bars, so you don't want to put all of your strength into tightening them. As you notice over here, I have used some different colored paints to mark the, the cylinders and the wires. I always find them very helpful, and they stay on there for a long, long time. Um, and it is a good opportunity to mark things as much as possible. They shouldn't really hurt. And that should be pretty much it. After that, try starting the engine and make sure there are no leaks. Hopefully, at least this one is fixed. There might be other ones out there. And that's all. Thanks for watching.